Somewhere on Earth invites you to the far north, to the Kingdom of Norway, an immense territory that extends well beyond the Arctic Circle. Norway has 80,000 kilometers of coast. It's the most irregular coastline in the world and the longest in Europe. Terje Isungset is not your ordinary artist. This composer draws his inspiration from the elements of nature. He's blazing new trails in music and doing the impossible. He makes ice music. Alexander Lingberg is an extreme adventurer, and Lapland is an ideal terrain for him to live out his passions. He makes his living from the sea, and the wind carries his dreams. Now he's getting ready to tackle the world's toughest snow kite competition. Heidi Sevestre is a glaciologist. This young French woman lives year-round in the Svalbard Islands, just a few hundred kilometers from the North Pole. Here in these northern lands, she has found an untamed expanse that can satisfy her thirst for freedom.
As soon as you set foot here, you feel right at home. And it's really a little bubble of peace and quiet. The longer you stay here in Svalbard, the harder it is to leave.
The Arctic acts like a magnet for those in quest of the absolute. The Dutch explorer Willem Barents discovered Spitsbergen in 1596 while leading an expedition to find a northwest passage to Asia. Blocked by ice, his crew had to spend the winter here and even dismantled a part of the ship in order to survive. Barents himself did not survive. This sea north of Norway now bears his name. It was not until 1838 that the first full-fledged scientific expedition took place. La Recherche, a French corvette, sailed from the port of Le Havre in France up the coast of Norway, then headed for Spitsbergen. The expedition would last for 2 years, during which 80 crew members and 17 scientists, eager for new discoveries, bravely explored these northern regions. Up until then, the rare visitors to Spitsbergen were mainly whalers and trappers. Those days are long gone, but this is still a land of adventure. Heidi is 26. She has been living on Spitsbergen in the Svalbard Islands for 5 years.
This here is quite a rifle. It's a Mauser from the Second World War. It really stands up well to the cold. More recent, lighter rifles tend to seize up when the cold sets in, but there's no problem with this one. At 5 kilos, it's heavy, but you can count on it. I have to do target practice because there's a danger of polar bears. They're all over the Svalbard Islands. Well, there's room for improvement. The polar bear is the largest predator in the islands and is not at all afraid of man. It'll come right up to a group of people without any fear at all. You have to be prepared for unexpected reactions from a polar bear. Some are curious and a little wary, but a large male could charge us just like that.
The Svalbard Islands are situated 840 kilometers north of Norway and 1,300 kilometers from the North Pole. In these inhospitable lands, where the polar night lasts 6 months and temperatures can drop to -50, scientists from all over the world have found a winter wonderland for their research. Longyearbyen, Spitsbergen's one and only town, is the world's northernmost community. It was founded by the early coal miners who braved the Arctic in hope of a better life. Heidi is a teacher and researcher at UNIS, the University of Svalbard.
Here in the Svalbards, you just grab a map and say, where should we go tomorrow? We're right out in the field. No excuse not to go. You just walk 200 meters and you're in the great outdoors.
In her field of research, glaciology, Heidi needs to master the dangers of ice and crevices. She and her students regularly practice the gestures that would save a life if one of them were to fall while out doing field work.
I was attracted to these islands because they have so much to offer. The mountains, the cold, nature right in your face. It makes you feel small compared to nature. I grew up in the French Alps, so I spent my childhood in the mountains, hopping from one peak to another. It's the same here. But here, nature rules your everyday life.